Good evening. Welcome back to JPCE, Spiritual Talk. It's Jared Campbell, so welcome back, everyone. Links are in the description box. This information is coming out of War 24/7 News. I'll try and make this quick. So this one says, end of time, Putin's ultimatum to NATO. He'll upgrade the F-16 mission in Ukraine to a nuclear threat from the West. The U.S. will become 100% smoke if. I'll finish that quote as we read. It came from a Russian political scientist. So according to the article, Russia activates nuclear deterrence doctrine. Putin raised the gauntlet, and Sergei Lavrov sent an ultimatum to NATO that any F-16 mission to Ukraine will now be considered a nuclear threat. So we're sending F-16s to Ukraine. This is huge. Russia has for the first time upgraded the threat, meaning that if F-16s are delivered to Ukraine, Moscow's nuclear deterrence doctrine will automatically be activated. This will happen. Why? Because as War News 24/7 reported months ago, according to the article, Russia cannot know which F-16s will be dual purpose. They will be able to carry B-61 nuclear bombs. Therefore, there are no margins. Russia cannot risk a surprise nuclear attack. Right? According to Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, he has stressed that the West poses a nuclear threat to his country, with his plans to deliver U.S.-made F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine's armed forces. This is a direct quote from Lavrov. If Ukraine has U.S.-made F-16 fighter jets at its disposal, this will create new risks for Russia, including in the field of nuclear security. As you know, F-16 aircraft can carry nuclear weapons. The U.S. and its NATO satellites create a risk of direct military conflict with Russia, and this could have disastrous consequences. He goes on to say Russia cannot ignore that the F-16s, with which various countries have announced that they intend to supply the Ukrainian Air Force, are capable of carrying nuclear weapons, he repeated. The mere fact that such systems will appear in the hands of Ukrainian armed forces will be considered a nuclear threat from the West. Interview with Russian news site Lenta. Russia has already informed the United States, so this is also coming from Lavrov, right? He goes on to say Russia has already informed the United States, France, and the United Kingdom that the possibility of F-16 fighter jets carrying nuclear weapons cannot be ignored. The armed forces of the Russian Federation, according to Lavrov, will not understand whether each aircraft is equipped to deliver nuclear weapons or not. So the Russian analyst predicted the start of nuclear war. His name is Suwalki. He goes on to say, from my point of view, if any of those things happen, then we will have to hit Washington, and not with just regular nukes. We need to understand this and not assure our American neighbors on the planet that, guys, if something happens, then you're going to be smoked. We probably too, but you 100%. Then only then there's a chance that it won't happen, concluded the Russian political scientist. All right, so deafening explosions. So the Russians, they leveled some places in Nikolaev. They leveled the Kulbakino. So it says deafening explosions occurred in Nikolaev as the Russian Air Force launched massive bombing raids on targets at Kulbakino Airport. Right? The Kulbakino Airport in Nikolaev was leveled. The Russian army destroyed it, and also destroyed warehouse of the armed forces of Ukraine with long-range aviation missiles of Western production. According to the article, it took place on July 10th, right? The evening of July 10th. And it goes on to say, another article, the foundations of war are also being laid in the Baltic. NATO cancels the founding law with Russia. Poland moves with fast-track procedures in the Suwalki Corridor. This is not good. The last hope for peace is extinguished. So NATO is laying the foundations of total war with Russia. The first bomb came from Lithuania, which, acting as a heir of developments, requested the annulment of the founding NATO-Russia treaty, which will allow the creation of permanent military bases in the Baltic countries, Poland, Bulgaria, and Finland. Immediately after, it became known that Poland is building 2 high-speed highways for the transport of NATO troops to the Suwalki Corridor with fast-track procedures. So in 1997, the founding act was signed between NATO and Russia, through which Moscow accepted the enlargement But in exchange that NATO, right? In exchange that NATO would not station permanent forces in Eastern Europe. NATO will break even the last Russian red line, which is a cause for war for Moscow. It is noted that the developments are expected after the adoption of new defense plans by NATO. I posted another article in there. We've read that one. So if you want to reread it. So this is huge. So they're counseling that, which is big. Right? It also goes on to say Poland is building express routes, which I think I just read that, to transport forces to the Suwalki Corridor. Right? So that's pretty much where I'm going to end this. So it's definitely getting bad. What I just read to you shows probably why, if you see my first video where I read from the whitehouse.gov, that the President Joe Biden is calling up our forces. He's calling them up, right? What I just read to you could explain why he's calling them up, right? That's where I'm going to end. Thank you all so much for following. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Links in the description box. May the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be merciful to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. In the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I love you all so much. JPCE Spiritual Talk. Never hold back, right? No excuses. Right? I love you all so much. I'm out.